Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We're going back into r/AmITheDevil because sometimes Am I the A-hole is pretty straightforward on if or not you is, and for this one, you certainly is. But if you guys would like to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. Also, there's a playlist in the end card of more of these if you want to see more. Am I the a-hole for making my sons take all of their stuff to their mothers? Hello Reddit, this is a burner account because I think my sons read Reddit. Oh yes, it's totally not the fact that you are going to 100% admit that you are the a-hole by the end of this, even though you wanted to write out a long lengthy story. I am a 45-year-old dad of 3. My 2 boys are 19 and 18, and my daughter is 17. The boys are out of high school, and older one graduated in 23, and the younger one just did this June. The older one goes to college, but staying with his mother. We are divorced for the summer. The younger one, as I said, just graduated. Right after he graduated, probably a day or two later, I told him that now that he is 18 and out of school, he needs to decide if he's going to live with me or his mother, and he needed to decide and let me know by July 1st. For reference, my daughter lives with me one week and her mother the next, and that is what my sons did when they were in high school as well. Well, July 1st came and went, and I did not hear from my son. So, on July 2nd, I packed up all of his stuff and his brother's stuff in trash bags and boxes, and set it in the front yard. Then I texted them and told them that they needed to come get their stuff. They asked why, and I said that if they chose their mother over me, then I don't want their stuff in my house. I even packed up my younger son's pet snake and told him to take it to his mom's house, which he said he couldn't do because they already have a dog and 2 cats. So, anyways, I told them to come get their stuff or I would throw it away. I told them each 3 trips in their cars to haul their stuff away, because this stuff has been in my house for over 12 years, so there is a lot. And I made sure the younger one took his snake. Well, after they took everything away, I got a call from their mother. She said that she was livid and said that she does not have the room to store all of their things. I told her that they live there now, so it is her problem. She said that they already have things at their house because they've gone back and forth for 12 years. So there is no place for 2 houses worth of things. I again told her that they live there now, so the boys' stuff is their problem. She then said I have no right to send another live animal to her house without asking. I told her it is my son's pet, so it needs to stay with him. She called me a butt and asked where she is supposed to keep all of these things. I told her that there is a shed and a garage, and that they can store them in there. She called me a butt again and said that I have no right to dictate how she uses her storage space in her home. I told her it used to be my home too, so I do have that right. She then said that she loves the boys, so will help them figure out what to do with all of their stuff, but that does not mean that she agrees with what I did. I told her that she doesn't have to agree. If the boys live with her, then so does their stuff. And that's it. She hung up. Yes, they don't get back to you on the immediate day after they happen to graduate, so basically you kick them out and force them to start living with their mother, just because, they happen to be 18 now, they graduated, they could be a good old adult, vamoose, get out of my house. Oh, gotta love that type of parenting attitude. If somebody is that easy to want to kick you out, then I feel like you weren't even wanted around in the first place, which really does, hit hard. Not even like a whole, hey, okay, so let's try to figure this out so we can get things going properly. It's just a simple, hey, your shit's on the front lawn, go live with your mother. Great parent. So yeah, was I the a-hole? Without a freaking doubt. I found out that I have a grandchild, but my daughter wants no contact. First-time poster, English not my first language. My friend told me to come here for an unbiased opinion. I'll post in English for a bigger audience. I'm 57 male and my wife is 56. We have 1 daughter, Lara, 34, Paul, 31, and Allie, 22. 3 years ago, we had a big fight with Lara, and we decided to go no contact with her. She was very rude, and we had some visitors in our garden. Our sons-in-law came to sort out some problems. My first grandchild was a few months old, and they were fighting a lot. My son has a gambling problem. It's hard, but we try to help out as good as we can. I bought him some books and talked to him many times. There are good and bad times, but we believe that he will make it. And yes, we have offered him therapy, but he rejected. Today I found out that my daughter has a daughter who is now 4 months old. Apparently, my cousin saw her and even talked to her. That was 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, I saw my cousin who told me how cute Peyton was, and I asked, "Who is Peyton?" He gave me a confused look and said, "Peyton, your granddaughter, Lara's daughter?" I was very shocked, and since then, I can't stop thinking about it. Why wouldn't she tell us? Yes, I was mad, but she's still my blood. I missed her whole pregnancy and my grandchild's first months. This is going too far. I texted her best friend Olivia asking for Lara's new number. She said no, and that Lara wants no contact with us. I asked her to ask her again, because I want to talk to my daughter. 2 hours later, she texted me still no. Now I don't know what is going on, and I talked to Olivia, who is still Lara's best friend. So back then, when Lara showed up in our garden, she came to talk to us. She asked the day before if we are available for a very important conversation. I remember that she asked, but the same day this drama with my son and his wife happened, and the day after her parents called to stop by, and I couldn't cancel them. When Lara called me to tell me that she was on her way, I told her that we had visitors. She blew up my phone and exploded. Olivia said that was the final straw. I had no idea what she was talking about, so she told me. When my son married my dad-in-law, let's call her Cynthia, Lara wasn't invited. We didn't know why, but Cynthia demanded an apology. Lara said, "No, I am not going to humiliate myself and apologize for speaking out the truth." Apparently, Cynthia had a lot of different men and a bad reputation before she met my son. A lot of my son's friends had affairs or relationships, or I don't know how you kids call it. We didn't know, and although we are religious, it wasn't our place to judge. We accepted her. A few months later after the wedding happened, and it was big. In our culture, 300 to 400 people are normal. We did celebrate, but I felt that Lara wouldn't care at all about that day. She didn't call or contact us. Olivia told me that Lara was hurt, and nobody cared about her being not at the wedding. She even forgave us, but she never got over the betrayal. I asked which betrayal, and she explained that Lara felt because nobody would speak up for her or boycott the wedding, that we all allowed sister-in-law to bully her for many years, and then kicked her out of the wedding. I know that there was an incident or two, but that's not my business. Lara seemed fine, and 1 year later, this incident in our garden had happened. It was like 3 years ago, and last year I heard that she moved away. Olivia said that it took you 2 years to realize that your daughter moved from Europe to Canada? Holy moly, Canada is very far and cold. I had no idea that she lives in Canada. I don't even know her new husband. Olivia said that Lara married her ex-husband again, but this time they actually married in Italy. I remember him being broke, but seems like he's loaded now. However, that guy doesn't like me or my wife. He's always talking about us prioritizing our son. It's always the same with this guy. Olivia talked to Lara and her husband, and the husband agreed to talk on the phone. I tried to prepare myself because I think this could go wrong. So today I talked to my daughter's husband. Let's call him Peter. He asked me straight up what I want and left no room for small talk. When I asked, "How are you?" he said, "Fine, just fine." "No thanks, how are you?" And he then had the audacity to ask me what I want, or if me and my wife are planning on apologizing to Lara. I don't even know why we should. Peter said, "Well, there's nothing to talk about." I told him that we are family, I guess. That was the wrong answer, because he pointed out all of our mistakes, how we failed as parents, and treated her so poorly while my son got everything and got away with everything. He accused us of favoritism. He then told me that the day Lara asked to meet us, she found out that she had cancer and that she wanted to talk about that next day, which was Saturday. I work Monday to Friday, and she didn't want me to be stressed, so that's why we picked the next day. I had no idea that her husband said that's not true. Lara told me that there's a possibility that she might have cancer, and I can't remember, but I thought she would tell us anyways. She never did, so I thought it can't be that bad, right? Oh yeah, no, cancer can't be that bad. He told me no, it was the final straw when we canceled for my son-in-laws, and I replied that she could have come at any time, but he said no, this was different. She asked for our time. I mean, we could have talked in the evening, right? Peter replied right then as to why didn't you do that with the in-laws. This man is very rude. Lara is fine and healthy now, and he said that she doesn't want us in her life anymore. I think she's unreasonable, and she can't keep my granddaughter away from me. I asked for a picture, and he said no. My wife suggested to mention the possibility of getting kicked out of our will, and that's what I told Peter. He laughed, which confused me. This guy never shows any emotions. He said, "Go ahead, Lara would love that, as she doesn't want to be in our lives anymore." And that we didn't notice, but he makes millions every year, so we can keep the little money we have. Our house is also worth $1 million, and we have some apartments, which would be another $300,000. Peter laughed again and said, "Do what you always do and spend it on your golden child." He then said that he has to hang up the phone for a work emergency. I said, "I'm gonna talk to my wife," and he said, "Whatever," and then we can't force me to stop calling him again, but if he gets to be too much, that he will change his number. He hung up. I don't know why Lara is acting so selfish. My wife, who could hear everything, is very mad and thinks that Lara should apologize to us. I don't know what to think. Any advice? You could call out her behavior in the comment section so that I can send it to her husband. Thanks. Yeah, if you're on this subreddit, you know for a fact that went over like a shit show. You know, favoritism and neglect would be a very good reason as to why I wouldn't exactly want to be in contact with anybody that happened to have that kind of favoritism towards a sibling and such. Oh yeah, and not apologizing for some big fight, because if you get into a fight and somebody don't want to have any contact with you afterwards, I don't think that they're obligated to have any contact with you afterwards. Just because you happen to share a genetic coding does not mean that you are legally obligated to keep in contact with them. And yeah, way to go trying to toss out the whole, "Oh, well, if you do this, we will remove you from the will," like that totally hasn't been something that you've hung over their head before. Am I the a-hole because I tried to teach my son a lesson not to cheat on exams, but now he's being bullied at school for being a cheat? I am not from America, and English is not my native language. I will be brief. I am a high school mathematics teacher. My son was in his first year and had become popular among his classmates. He was doing well in my class, and so were his classmates. One day, I asked my son to send a message to his mother about something since she couldn't find my phone. But he was too lazy to do it and asked me to do it myself. I saw that he had a WhatsApp group called Exam Answers. Of course, I had to check it out. My son was sending the answers to his classmates for the exams. I have a notebook where I write down the answers, and my son discovered it and was taking photos of them without me realizing it. I was very disappointed, so I decided to teach him a lesson. I wrote down all of the answers incorrectly. If the students really paid a little attention, then they would realize that they were terribly wrong. But even so, in the next exam, everyone used the wrong answers. At home, I ended up telling my son that I discovered what he was doing, and I did it to teach him a lesson. Of course, I punished him, and he and his classmates, they had to take summer classes since I gave them a surprise exam that they were very behind. That was last year, and now they are in a second year. I am no longer their teacher, but now I am worried. After that, all of his friends stopped talking to him, and they all called him a cheater who made them fail on purpose. Now also in the hallways, they call him an idiot who must copy in class to pass and constantly calls the teacher's attention during exams by saying that my son is cheating just to annoy him. I know that my son no longer cheats. Since last year's reprimand, I have been very strict with him regarding his studies. But now he has a very cold relationship with me. He has never directly blamed me, but I found out that all of recently when a colleague told me how worried she was about my son. I talked to him about this, and he said that it's not my problem when he held a parent meeting to try to solve this, but I still don't know how to avoid the bullying. I had good intentions, but I think I didn't measure the repercussions he could have on the school. Any advice? Edit, my son is currently 14 years old, and I don't know if this counts as publicly humiliating him, but I changed the answers in my notebook, which I knew I would give to his classmates, and when they all failed, the classmates told me that it was my son who gave them those answers, trying to get rid of the blame. Later at home, I told my son that I already knew that. My wife agrees with the comments. I should have handled things differently. I am going to talk to him, and we will start the progress of changing his schools. He will be a little further away, but it seems like it's the best option. I will also make an appointment with a therapist family, and for him, although he has told me that he does not need it. And final edit, we are Latin American. Hold up, how oblivious you gotta be to not only not notice that your son is being bullied, but not notice that your son is being bullied even when you are the teacher in his class. I looked in the comments for some clarifications, and one of the first ones stated this is the exact reason why if you are a teacher at a school to never be in a class with your own kid, because then you will have the kid be a target of the bullying. Oh yeah, and way to go saying that I don't want to publicly humiliate my kid, meanwhile doing a perfect example of publicly humiliating your kid. Great job, Parent of the Year. Am I the a-hole for asking my mom not to bother my boyfriend? My boyfriend and I have been together for 5 years, since we were 18. In 2020, he moved in with my mom and me because we were inseparable. We went through several job changes, and my mom rented a better living space. She asked us to help with the bills, so my boyfriend contributed around 400 pounds a month. However, he often quit jobs, causing friction, but my mom was very understanding. My mom started feeling mentally stressed when my boyfriend neglected household chores. For example, he'd only wash his bowl, leaving other dishes for my mom. This behavior affected her as she saw it as disrespectful, because in her opinion, she was washing his dirty underwear and folding it for him, but he went as low as separating dishes. In 2022, my dad passed away. I spent 3 months in Australia dealing with inheritance issues, leaving my boyfriend alone with our pets. He felt abandoned and started inappropriate conversations with a coworker. He knew my dad was the most important person in my life, and I watched him take his last breath. He emotionally cheated on me whilst I was grieving, and we fought over this, and he broke things in our house. Eventually, I suggested that he move back to his mom's. He moved out, but we decided to give our relationship another try after a month. My mom was not in the country when this fight happened, so she does not even know about this. We now live in the countryside in a 3-bedroom house with a garden. My mom made it clear that she would never live with him again, but allowed him to visit. Our house is fully carpeted, leading to a lot of pet fur. My mom hoovers daily and only asked me to hoover my room. My boyfriend has been staying over for a week while I go to work, and he takes care of walking the dog. Today, he told me that he wants to leave in the morning, and he knows I want to spend time with him because I finish work early as it is the weekend. He said it's because he hates being told to hoover by my mom. I was shocked because it only takes 2 minutes. He then admits that he hates my mom and feels that he can't say no to her. I decided to tell my mom not to ask him to help avoid future arguments, but to even that I was not allowed, as I would make things awkward if I said so. But I still called her secretly and told her, hey, it's my turn since he did it yesterday, so let me do it after I get back from the office, which is a lie because my mom went to work yesterday and he did not hoover. My mom doesn't know that when my boyfriend was paying 400 pounds, he accused us of using him, which would devastate her. As our bills were way higher than what he contributed, I feel stuck because I understand my mom's frustration, but if I defend my mom, I'm an unsupportive girlfriend. I don't want to move out because my mom helps a lot with the pets, and we have only recently started spending time together after 10 years of me being in boarding school. My mom doesn't mind my boyfriend visiting if he cleans up after himself, but even that is an issue for him. Am I the a-hole for asking mom not to bother him? Yeah, I'd say definitely yeah, because look, yeah, they're paying the rent, but it doesn't really seem like they're doing much to contribute, and they're really just hoping that the mom cleans up after them. Like, if you come inside of the house, and like you stated, your entire house is carpeted, so there's pet hair everywhere, but there's also going to be stuff like dirt from your shoes that get on the carpet. So yeah, if you happen to come in and you have had dirty shoes, it does very much kind of a courteous thing to, you know, clean up after yourself, and it doesn't really seem like your boyfriend be doing that. Am I the a-hole for calling my sister cruel for her tattoo idea? Sis is 28, I'm 26M. My sis N has always had a strained relationship with our parents, especially my mom. I am clearly not privy to the reasons because things are fine with me and my parents. When N went to college, she met her creative writing professor as a freshman, and they got close immediately. They would do a lot together and work closely on a few different writing projects. N never specifically said this, but it was obvious to anyone who saw them interact that they had a substitute mother/daughter type relationship, which hurt my mom a lot to see. I always thought that she'd grow out of it, or that the professor would move on, but 10 years later they were still very close. About a month ago, the professor died unexpectedly and devastated N. She was really depressed over the holidays, which of course was all in front of my mom, and was difficultly a reminder that N loved the professor as a mother way more than she ever loved my mom as a mother. She still talks about my parents and stuff that they don't fight or anything, but N is very distant and doesn't tell them anything about her life beyond the bare minimum. My mom tried to comfort N, but N was doing her distant thing and didn't want comfort. Something unfortunate that happened to N is that when she got the call that she died, she was brewing tea, and in the shock of the news, she spilled boiling water on her arm, which burned her kinda badly on the wrist. I think that the burn was like a borderline 2nd and 3rd degree, which definitely still looked pretty rough during the holidays. N said that it was especially hard because in addition to the physical pain, every time she looks at it, she is reminded at the moment that she found out that the professor died, which I totally get. I was on FaceTime with N, and she said that she talked to her tattoo artist friend who said that the burn should be able to heal well enough to get a tattoo over it. N then excitedly told me about her idea, which is a type of flower that the professor gave her a bouquet of for her undergrad graduation. My mom was so embarrassed that day because she didn't get N flowers, but the professor did, and N was parading them around so happy, and it was a reminder of their connection. I guess N and the professor exchanged these flowers for every special occasion like birthdays, etc. So now she wants to get a decent-sized tattoo in a highly visible spot of something that will remind everyone and the professor. I told N that this seemed really cruel to my mom, who already gets cast aside like she's an exile from N, and that without the constant permanent reminder, N kind of scoffed and said, "I can't believe that you would think you have the right to tell me not to do this." Called me an ass and hung up, and is not talking to me, except for the brief text saying congrats for a promotion I just got. My parents aren't commenting. My dad said that I should have just kept quiet, even though he agrees, and my mom made no comment, but seemed grateful that I stood up for her. I feel like I was just being protective of my mom. Am I the a-hole? Yeah! Your sister trying to turn something that is actually a bad memory into something that will fill her with a good memory every time she looks at it, and you happen to have a problem with that. You know, it's not like anybody has a strained relationship with a family member or a significant other or anybody for any reason whatsoever. No, there can never be a reason behind anybody not wanting to interact with somebody else. Nope, you just decide to wake up one day randomly, I don't want to talk to this person. Not like there's any sort of reasoning behind it. Am I the a-hole for not getting my niece a fun birthday gift? I, 25F, have 2 nieces and 1 nephew from my sister, 40F. My oldest niece and nephew are twins, 14. My younger niece is 6 years old. They're all great kids, and I've sort of been like an older sister to them since it's a huge age gap between me and my older sister. The twins had their birthday last week, and I brought a present for all of them. Yes, even the 6-year-old, because she's very young and I don't want her to feel out. However, the gift giving didn't go as well as planned. My nephew loved Hot Wheels when he was younger. My youngest niece had always been asking for a Barbie doll, so they were easy people to buy presents for. I got my nephew a remote-controlled car, and my younger niece a Barbie doll. My oldest niece, however, was a bit of a wild card. She never had any stereotypical girly interests as a young girl. She was already pretty shy and liked keeping to herself around guests or people that she didn't know that well. I know that she liked watching space documentaries once upon a time, but that seemed so long ago, and I don't think she watches it anymore. At the time of buying, my mind was a blank, and that was my only kind of reference for her interests. So I got her a space encyclopedia. When I gave the gifts, my oldest niece was disappointed. She started saying that her present is not as fun as the ones her siblings got. The twins had some of their friends over at their party, and after they left, my niece ran to her room crying about how humiliated she was, and how unfair that her twin brother got a fun present, and she got a boring book for studies that made her look like a nerd. And even her younger sister got a better present, and it wasn't even her birthday. Her parents got really angry with her throwing a tantrum and told her to appreciate the things that she was given and to not make me feel bad. I really tried to be the bigger person and told her that I remembered how she liked space documentaries, and that was why I got it for her. And then she screamed at me saying that she did that when she was freaking 10, her words, and that she's a teenager now and doesn't like that anymore. I said, well, you don't have to be so ungrateful about it. That encyclopedia I got you was nearly $300. It's not like it's not useful. My sis and brother-in-law said the same thing, but she was miserable. It's been a week, and I don't know what else I could have done. I didn't want to have to go and ask about a B-Day gift that was meant to be a surprise. I didn't think that she'd take it this badly. Going through the comments, you're all right, I messed up. All over not wanting to go through the embarrassment of having to ask what they want. Some commenters have asked if I've been away from them for a while, and yeah, I have. I've been studying and working in a different state for 3 years, but I have been visiting a lot. I guess I didn't realize how fast interests and likes can change. I'm going to call my sister and ask if I can just talk to my niece about this. Hi, before I go into what happened, thank you for hearing me out and even for being sympathetic to me, even though I don't deserve it. I talked to my niece, apologized to her about it, and she was sorry about the outburst too. And I returned the book today. We're going out tomorrow, again letting her pick what she wants this time. I don't really think it's a bit of an embarrassment to ask somebody what they happen to want for a holiday, Christmas, birthday, whatever the holiday is, because people's interests can change, and if you don't know what they're interested in, you don't really know what to get them, and so that's why gift cards happens to be a lot of people's fallbacks. But at least in this one, there was a bit of a good ending to it all, because, like, you apologize and everything, you guys are going out to pick out a different gift, you got to return the book, so there's a lot of, like, a good ending factor that came into this. But yeah, if you still care about them, and you want to do something nice for, like, a holiday, getting them a present and everything, you never should feel embarrassed about asking asking them what they would like. But with that, that is going to have to be with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up some wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. And I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!